Close your eyes for a moment, gently, softly. If your mind is still racing today, still holding on to unfinished thoughts, to stories that haven't found their ending, then tonight, you don't need to solve anything anymore. You don't need to understand everything. You don't need to try to become a better version of yourself. You only need to be here and rest. If this moment brings you even a small sense of peace, gently subscribe to the channel, not for me, but so that each night you always have a place to return to, a place without noise, without pressure, only the gentle presence of God. And if your heart is in need of a prayer or a specific intention, feel free to leave it in the comments. I always read and I always pray for you. Now, let everything slow down. Breathe in deeply, hold for a moment, then breathe out softly. Imagine the sounds of the long day drifting farther and farther away, like small waves retreating back into the sea. Your worries, your thoughts, the things that have been weighing on you, they may not disappear instantly, but they are softening, settling, like the surface of water after the wind has passed. You don't need to carry all of that into your sleep. Tonight, you are allowed to let it go. Maybe you tried very hard today. Maybe you were stronger than you realize. And maybe you are more tired than you're willing to admit. But right now, you don't have to hold it all together anymore. You are in a safe place. Let your mind drift gently, as if stepping into a quiet, warm space where there is no noise, no rush, only a presence, soft and deep. Let me guide you there. More than 2,000 years ago, on a hillside overlooking the Sea of Galilee, there was a peaceful afternoon. The sunlight was not harsh, but warm, gentle, like a soft touch. The wind moved through the grass, carrying the scent of earth, of wildflowers, and of life. In the distance, the water shimmered like silver, reflecting a vast sky without a single cloud. On that hillside, Jesus Christ sat down, not in a hurry, not in noise, not in tension. He simply was there, and around him were people just like you. The weary, the burdened, those carrying quiet worries in their hearts, those searching for something they could not quite name. Some had just experienced loss. Some were anxious about tomorrow. Some felt they were not enough. Some were simply exhausted. And they came, not because they were perfect, but because they needed rest. Perhaps you are there too, among them. You sit down on the soft grass. You feel the steady ground beneath you. You feel the breeze gently touch your skin. You hear the quiet whispers of nature around you. No one is rushing you. No one is asking anything of you. You only need to be there. And then he looks at you, not with judgment, not with expectation, but with deep understanding. He sees everything you carry in your heart, the things you've spoken, and the things you've kept hidden, the wounds not yet healed, the questions without answers, the fears you don't dare to name. He sees and still loves you, not because you've done enough, but because you are you. In this very moment, you don't need to prove anything. You don't need to try to become better. You don't need to fix everything right away. You only need to be loved. Let that feeling spread within you, slowly, like sunlight warming your skin, like an invisible embrace, yet deeply real. If there is still something within you that feels tight, gently let it go. You don't need to throw it away, just place it down. Beside you, you can return to it tomorrow, but not tonight. Tonight is for rest. Feel your breath slowing down, becoming steadier, lighter. Breathe in, peace. Breathe out, worry. Breathe in, gentleness. Breathe out, fatigue. Just like that, breath by breath, you are on that hillside. You are near him, and you are safe. There is nothing to rush, nothing to fear. Tonight, his words will not come as a sermon, not as something difficult to understand, not as heavy demands, but like a lullaby, meant just for you, soft, slow, and full of love. Let your heart open, ever so gently. It doesn't need to be perfect, only willing. Because in this very moment, as you listen, as you soften, as you let go, you are being touched, you are being healed, little by little, and you are not alone. Tonight, you are held in peace. You are surrounded by love. You are allowed to rest. And as you sit quietly within that peace, let your mind open slowly as the scene on the hillside becomes clearer and the people around you begin to approach, one by one. Stay a little longer in this stillness. Don't rush to open your eyes. Just let your mind drift gently, as if you were standing at the edge between waking and sleep, where everything becomes softer, quieter, and more real. Something is happening on that hillside, not loud, not hurried, but deep enough to reach the most hidden places within the human heart. You begin to hear footsteps. At first, just a few, light, scattered, like dry leaves falling onto the earth. But then, more. In the distance, there is a narrow path leading up the hill. That path is slowly filling. Because not long before this, Jesus Christ had left Capernaum. That town had become too noisy, too many voices calling out, too many needs, too many hands reaching, hoping to touch him. Not because they were wrong, but because they were hurting. And when pain gathers, it becomes a great wave. But he did not leave to reject them. He left to lead them somewhere else, a quieter place, a deeper place, a place where the heart could be touched, not only by miracles, but by truth. And now, they are following him up the hill. You can see them. At the front are the disciples. They walk close to him, not because they understand everything, but because they have chosen to believe. They too are tired, confused, full of questions, and yet they keep walking. Behind them is the crowd, not a single kind of crowd, but many different stories gathering into one place. There is a man with rough, calloused hands. He has worked since early morning until the sun stood high. His back aches, his shoulders are heavy, but inside, he is even more weary. He doesn't know exactly why he came, only that he heard of someone who could speak words that make the heart feel lighter. And so, he came. There is a woman, wearing a worn-out garment. Her eyes do not meet others, as if she has grown used to being avoided. She carries something, unseen by others, a past, a mistake, a quiet shame. She did not come to be noticed. She only hopes not to be turned away. And she came too. There is a mother, holding her small child. The child rests asleep on her shoulder, breathing softly, steadily. But she does not. Last night, she barely slept because of worry, because of fear, because of the unknown tomorrow. And yet today, she climbed this hill, not because she is strong, but because she has nowhere else to go. There is an old man leaning on his staff, taking slow steps. He is not in a hurry. He has lived long enough to know that some things cannot be rushed. And still, he came, because deep within there's a question, one that has never been answered. And today he hopes. And so, one by one, from different roads, carrying different stories, they come, but they all carry one thing in common: an emptiness, a searching, a longing they cannot name. And you are sitting there too. Perhaps you don't say it out loud, but within your heart, there is something as well. Something that brought you here. Something that brought you to this very moment. And that is enough. You don't need to explain. You don't need to prove anything. Just be here. The wind continues to move gently across the hillside. The grass sways like soft waves. The light stretches out, warm, tender, and the crowd keeps growing. Yet something is different. Even with hundreds, thousands of people, no one feels lost. No one feels invisible. Because when he sits, when he lifts his eyes, he does not see a crowd. He sees each person, every face, every gaze, every heart. He sees the weary man and knows how hard he has tried. He sees the woman carrying shame and knows how long she has endured. He sees the anxious mother and knows how deep her fear runs. He sees the old man and knows the silent years within him. And he sees you, not just that you are sitting there, but deeper. He sees what you have never told anyone. He sees the tears you have hidden. He sees the moments you tried to be strong when you had nothing left. He sees, and he does not turn away. No judgment, no avoidance, no distance, only presence and love. You can feel it if you become still enough, not with your mind, but with your quiet. Let your heart soften just a little more. It doesn't have to open completely. Just don't close it. Because on this hill, no one is overlooked. No one is too small. No one is too broken. No one is too late. Each one is seen. Each one is known. Each one is loved. And that includes you. Let that feeling spread slowly, like warm water, touching the place within you that is most tired. You don't need to push your way forward. You don't need to draw attention. You don't need to do anything to be chosen, because you already are. You have already been seen. You have already been called. And in this very moment, as you sit among the crowd, in the wind, in the light, in the stillness, you are no longer just part of the crowd. You are someone who is known, someone who is seen, someone being invited into something deeper. And as everyone settles, as the space grows quieter, as hearts begin to open, he is about to speak. Not to teach as others do, but to say the words your soul has been waiting for. And as silence covers the hillside, he begins with a simple phrase, yet powerful enough to change everything. Blessed are, a doorway opening for hearts that thought they were too weary to hope. Stay in this quiet a little longer. Don't rush to think. Don't try to understand. Just listen. There are words that when spoken, do not ask you to try harder, but instead make you feel lighter. And this is one of those words. As everyone has settled, as the wind becomes only the softest touch, as the sunlight gentles into something like a warm blanket, Jesus Christ begins to speak, not loudly, not hurriedly, not with pressure, just a single word. Blessed. The word is not loud, but as it touches the air, it spreads like a ripple across still water. Blessed. Not a word for those who have already succeeded, not for those who feel they are enough, not for those who have everything, but for those who lack. Blessed are the poor in spirit. There is a man in the crowd, and when he hears these words, he can hardly believe them. Poor is a word he has heard all his life. Poor in money, poor in opportunity, poor in worth. He has always believed that being poor is something to hide, something that makes him unworthy, and yet now, from his lips, poverty is called blessed, not material poverty, but poverty of spirit, to stand before God and know you have nothing to boast of, nothing to prove, nothing to be proud of, only empty hands. And the strange thing is, he does not turn away from those empty hands. He says, "For theirs is the kingdom of heaven," not will be, but is, right now. The man feels something within him begin to loosen, a pressure he has carried for years, the pressure to be enough, to be better, to be more, suddenly begins to dissolve, because for the first time, someone is telling him, you do not need to bring anything to be received. You can come in your emptiness, and that is not a flaw, it is the doorway. If within you there is a space like that, a place where you feel not enough, a place you have tried to fill, but never could, let these words reach you. You are not rejected. You are called blessed. Let your breath slow. Breathe in gently and breathe out as if you are releasing the need to be perfect. You don't need to do anything more right now. Just be there. Listening, he continues, blessed are those who mourn. There is a woman sitting near the back. She does not cry out loud, but her eyes are tired from too many tears. She has lost someone she once believed would always be there. People around her have said, be strong, time will heal, don't cry anymore. But they do not know that some pain cannot be silenced by advice. She carries that grief every day, in silence, in loneliness. And then she hears these words, blessed. She lifts her head, not because she understands everything, but because no one has ever called her pain blessed. For they shall be comforted, not they should stop crying, not they must become stronger, but they will be comforted, which means their pain is seen, acknowledged, touched with gentleness. He does not tell her to suppress it. He does not tell her to forget. He simply says, she will not be alone in it. If within you there is a sorrow like that, something you have not been able to say, a memory that tightens your chest whenever it returns, you don't have to hide it in this moment. You can let it be there and simply breathe. Breathe in. Allow yourself to feel. Breathe out gently without resistance. You are not weak because you hurt. You are not forgotten because you are grieving. You are seen. You are known. And you will be comforted. Not instantly, not in the way you expect, but in a way that is real, deep and tender, like a hand resting softly on your shoulder in the night, like a voice without words. Yet somehow you feel it. I am here. Let those words settle within you. No need to analyze, no need to fully understand. Just let them be, like seeds falling into soft soil. You may not see anything change right away, but within, something has begun. A lightening, an opening, a healing, slow and real. You are not forgotten, even when you feel invisible, even when you think no one understands. You are still seen, in that crowd, among so many people, he still sees you. Not the version you are trying to become, but the real you, with all your fragility, all your cracks, all your empty spaces. And he does not leave. He stays. You can rest in that. No need to hide. No need to hold yourself together. Just breathe. Breathe in peace. Breathe out heaviness. Breathe in presence. Breathe out loneliness. You are no longer alone in what you feel. You are being held in a love that asks for nothing. And tonight, that alone is enough. Let your body soften just a little more. Your shoulders relax. Your jaw unclenches. Your forehead smooths. You are safe. You are loved. You are allowed to be here exactly as you are. And as your heart begins to feel that gentle comfort, he continues, opening even deeper words for those who long for peace and for a different way than this world offers. Don't rush to leave, because there are words that if you listen deeply enough, they will not only reach your ears, but touch the most tender places within your heart. And sometimes it is that very softness that holds the greatest strength. The wind on the hillside remains gentle. The light is still warm. And the voice of Jesus Christ continues, steady, slow, as if waiting for your heart to catch up. He continues, "Blessed are the meek." The words sound so soft, yet within many hearts, they stir confusion. Meek. There is a young man sitting among the crowd. His hands are clenched, as if holding something in. He has grown used to being strong, to protecting himself, to proving that he is not weak. In his world, if you do not speak up, you are overshadowed. If you do not resist, you are hurt. So, he learned to be hard, but deep inside, he is tired. Tired of always being on guard. Tired of carrying an armor he never gets to take off. And then, he hears these words, "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth." He frowns slightly. Meek, and yet inheriting. It goes against everything he has ever believed. But the way he speaks, it does not sound like advice. It sounds like truth, something that has always been there. Meekness is not weakness. It is not being suppressed. It is not silence born of fear. Meekness is having strength and choosing not to use it to harm. It is being able to react, but choosing peace instead. It is not needing to prove yourself, because you already know you are seen. The young man feels his hands slowly loosen, not because he has become weaker, but because he no longer needs to hold himself so tightly. If you have ever had to brace yourself, if you have believed you must be strong just to avoid being hurt, try letting go just a little. Not letting go of your worth, but letting go of the pressure to always defend yourself. You can be safe, even when you soften. Breathe in, slowly. Feel your chest gently expand. Breathe out. Let your shoulders drop. Just a little more. You don't have to fight in this moment. You can rest. He does not call you weak. He calls you blessed. And when you choose gentleness, you are not losing anything. You are returning to yourself. Peace does not come from winning over others. It comes from no longer needing to win at all. Let that settle within you, acquired, not because everything is perfect, but because you are no longer resisting yourself. He continues, "Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness." There is a young woman sitting not far from you. She has always tried to do what is right, try to live well, tried to become someone she believes God would accept. But the more she tries, the more she feels she is lacking, as if there's a distance she cannot cross. She wonders, have I done enough? Am I good enough? Why do I still feel empty? And then she hears these words, blessed, not try harder, not you are not enough, but blessed for those who are hungry, who are thirsty, not for food, but for what is right, for a life that is real, not false, for something deeper, truer, more lasting. She begins to realize that sense of lack is not failure. It is a sign that her heart is still alive. If you have ever felt this way, felt that you are not enough, felt that you are searching, but have not yet found, listen to this slowly. Your hunger is not wrong. It is an invitation to come closer. You do not need to silence it. You do not need to pretend you are already full. You only need to hold it, like holding a small flame. Within your heart, he says, for they shall be filled, not by filling yourself, but by being filled, not by effort, but by grace. The young woman gently closes her eyes. For the first time, she is no longer trying. She is simply there with her hunger. And that is enough. And you are the same. You do not need to be perfect. You do not need to fix everything right now. You only need to still long, to still desire what is true, to still desire what is right, to still desire to be near him. That is enough. Let your breath lead you deeper. Breathe in. Feel that quiet longing. Breathe out. Release the pressure to be perfect. You are not rejected because you are not enough. You are drawn closer because you are still longing. That is not weakness. That is the path, a very quiet path, very slow and very real. You don't need to run. You don't need to rush. Just take one small step at a time, and every step is seen. Every breath is held on that hillside. No one is being rushed to become better overnight. Everyone is simply listening, simply opening, simply being touched, little by little. And you are in that moment too. You don't need to do anything more. Just stay in this gentleness, in this quiet calling. You are being led, not by force, but by love. And as your heart begins to soften and long for what is real, he continues to open even deeper words where mercy and healing begin to flow into places you once believed could never be reached, because there are words that the deeper they go, the more they reach the places you thought had long been closed. You may begin to feel something within you softening, like ice melting, like a door gently opening. And just when you think you have understood enough, he speaks again, something even deeper. Blessed are the merciful. That word, mercy, it is not unfamiliar, and yet it is not easy. There is a man sitting to your right. He's thinking of someone who has hurt him, not once, but many times. Those words still live within him. Those memories have not faded. He has tried to forget, tried to move on, but deep inside, something remains unhealed. And then he hears, blessed, not for those who are stronger, not for those who win, but for the merciful. He lets out a quiet breath. What does mercy mean? It is not saying that it didn't hurt. It is not pretending everything is fine. It is choosing not to let that pain continue flowing through you to harm someone else. Mercy is opening a way out for what has been trapped inside you. If you hold it, it becomes heavy, clouded, it weighs you down. But if you let it move, it becomes healing. For they shall receive mercy, not because they have earned it, but because when you open your heart, you open the way to receive as well. The man closes his eyes. He's not able to forgive completely, but he's no longer holding as tightly. And sometimes a small step like that is the beginning of freedom. If there is someone in your heart you have not yet been able to release, you don't have to force it. Just loosen your grip a little, just a little. Breathe in, breathe out. You are not being asked to be perfect. You are simply being invited to open. He continues, "Blessed are the pure in heart." There is a young woman sitting near the front. She has always tried to live rightly, but inside she feels divided. One part of her longs for what is good. Another part is still pulled toward old ways. One part wants to be close to God. Another part feels unworthy. She is tired of being torn within. And then she hears, "Blessed, not be perfect, not never fail, but pure in heart." Purity is not never falling. It is a heart that is not divided. It is choosing one direction and turning toward it, even if you have not arrived, even if you still stumble. But you do not turn away, for they shall see God, not only someday far away, but even now, in the smallest moments, in a sudden peace, in a quiet stillness, in a gentle sense of nearness. The young woman exhales more softly. She does not need to be perfect to be close. She only needs to be real. And you are the same. You don't need to divide yourself to satisfy everything. You can return to one place only, where you are simply yourself before Him. He continues, "Blessed are the peacemakers." There is an older woman listening closely. She has spent her life keeping things from breaking, between her children, between neighbors, between relationships that once began to fracture. No one thanks her much. No one fully sees what she's carried. And yet, she continues, not because it is easy, but because she cannot bear to see things fall apart. And now, she hears, "Blessed, for they shall be called children of God." Children, not servants. Not those striving to prove themselves, but those who carry the nature of their Father. Making peace is what God does. He does not divide. He restores. He does not push away. He draws near. And when you do the same, you are living like Him. The woman smiles gently. Perhaps the small things she has done were never small at all. And you are the same. If you have ever chosen softness instead of reaction, chosen to listen instead of interrupt, chosen to stay instead of walk away, you are not weak. You are carrying something sacred. He continues, "Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness." The air grows a little more still. There is a man sitting very quietly. He has lost much for choosing what is right. Friends have distanced themselves. Work has become difficult. Words have been spoken against him, unfairly. There were times he wondered, was it worth it? And then he hears, "Blessed, not abandoned, not forgotten, but blessed, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." Not later, now. He is not alone. He never was. What he has endured is not meaningless, and what you are carrying is not either. If you have ever chosen what is right and paid a price for it, you are not abandoned. You are seen. You are held. You are not alone. Let that hold you like an embrace, unseen, yet deeply real. Breathe in, breathe out. You don't need to understand everything, only this. You are called blessed, even when you are weak, even when you hurt, even when you are not finished. You are not excluded. You are being held very close, and as these words begin to settle within you, like warm water spreading through stillness, he continues to speak about who you are, not what you must do, but who you truly are in his light. Stay just a little longer. Don't rush to leave this gentle space, because there is something very important that perhaps you have forgotten for a long time. Not about what you need to do, but about who you truly are. The wind still moves softly across the hillside. The grass still sways like small waves, and the voice of Jesus Christ remains warm, slow, and filled with quiet certainty. He does not say, "Try to become." He says, "You are." Do you hear it? Not a command, but a declaration. You are the salt of the earth. There is a woman sitting near you. She has never thought of herself as important. She lives a very ordinary life, unnoticed, unremarkable. Each day, she does the same things: cooking, cleaning, caring for others, quietly. No applause, no recognition. And sometimes she wonders, does my life even matter? Then she hears, "You are the salt." Salt is not what people notice first. It does not shine. It is not loud. But without it, everything becomes tasteless. Salt gives flavor to the ordinary. Salt preserves what is good. Salt sometimes touches a wound and heals, not instantly, but truly. The woman exhales softly. Perhaps the small things she does were never small at all. Perhaps every meal she prepares, every gentle word she speaks, every moment she chooses patience is salt. If you have ever felt that your life is too ordinary, too small, not enough to make a difference, listen to this slowly. You do not need to become something else to have meaning. You already are salt in the way you are present, in the way you love, in the things no one sees. Let that reach you. Breathe in. Feel your worth without needing to prove it. Breathe out. Release the thought that you must become something great to be seen. You do not need to be a great light to matter. Sometimes a little salt is enough. He continues, "You are the light of the world." There is a man with his head lowered. He has always thought he is not enough, not bright enough, not different enough. He has tried and grown tired because he believed light must be dazzling, must stand out, must be seen. But he does not say that. He does not say, "Become a great light." He says, "You are the light," as if it has always been there. Light does not strain. It does not force itself to shine. Light simply exists. It only needs not to be hidden. The man slowly lifts his head. He remembers the times he was kind, the moments he listened, the quiet choices, when he chose what was right. No one remembered. No one spoke of them. But perhaps that was the light. Light is not becoming perfect. It is not hiding what is good within you, not hiding your gentleness, not hiding your kindness, not hiding what is true, just living honestly. If you have ever felt that you are not bright enough, not good enough, not special enough, let these words remain in you. You do not need to become the light. You already are. Just don't hide it. Don't cover the good within you out of fear of judgment. Don't dim your gentleness because you think it doesn't matter. A small light in the darkness is still light, and it is enough to guide someone. Slow your breathing. Breathe in. Feel a gentle light within your heart. Breathe out. Let it spread without rushing. You do not need to change the world in one night. You only need to be faithful. Faithful in small things. Faithful in ordinary choices. And that is already sacred. You may not see it right away, but every small act, every loving choice, every time you do not give up is creating something deeper than you know. On that hillside, no one is being asked to become great. They are simply being reminded that they already have value, and so are you. You do not need to try to become someone else. You only need to return to yourself, a version of you, not covered by fear, not shaped by pressure, a version lighter, truer, and quietly radiant in your own way. Let your body soften a little more, your shoulders relax, your breath steadies. You do not need to shine brilliantly. You only need not to go out, and that is enough. And as you begin to recognize your true worth, not through what you do, but through who you are, He continues to lead you deeper into an understanding of the law, no longer as a burden, but as a path that leads to life. You don't need to understand everything right now. Just listen, like a child being told a story before sleep. The wind is still very gentle. The evening light has softened, and the voice of Jesus Christ is still there, close, warm, and safe. There is no pressure, no feeling that you must get it right, only a quiet guidance, very slow. He looks at the crowd, and he knows that within many hearts there is a deep chinta. They were raised with the law, things they must do, things they must not do, standards so high. They always felt they were not enough. There is a man sitting in silence. He has tried his whole life to do what is right, to remember every rule, to walk carefully step by step. But the more he tries, the more tired he becomes, because deep inside, he knows he cannot be perfect. And then he hears him say, "Do not think that I have come to abolish the law." The man slowly lifts his head, not abolish, but also not what he had always thought. I have come to fulfill it, fulfill, not erase, not replace, but complete, like a story, finally reaching its ending, like a promise, at last being kept. The man feels something within him begin to soften. Perhaps everything he had tried to understand was leading to this moment. The law is not a burden. It is not a ladder that you must climb to reach God. The law is like a mirror. When you look into it, you see yourself, not the version you wish to be, but the truth of who you are, the unfinished places, the parts still lacking, the things you cannot fix on your own. But the mirror is not there to shame you. It is there to show you that you need help. There is a young woman listening. She has always tried to become better, but every time she fails, she blames herself. She thinks she hasn't tried hard enough. But as she hears this, she begins to understand. There are things you cannot achieve just by trying harder. There are things you need to be saved from. The law is also like a fence, not to trap you, but to keep you safe, like walking at night and having a clear path. You do not have to fear getting lost. The fence does not take away your freedom. It keeps you from falling into danger. If you have ever felt that the limits in your life were restrictive, try seeing them again. Perhaps they are not there to confine you, but to protect you, quietly, faithfully. And then, the law is also like a lamp, not a blinding light, not overwhelming, just enough to show you the next step. You do not need to see the whole road. Only one step in the light. If you feel that you do not know where to go, that you're unsure what is right, you don't need all the answers. You only need light for the next step. And that light is already there. Very gentle, very near. But the most important thing he wants them to understand is this: you are not saved by climbing the law. You are not loved because you do everything right. You do not have to become enough before you are accepted. The man slowly closes his eyes. He's been climbing his whole life, trying to become worthy, trying to reach a standard he could never touch. But now he understands that ladder was never the way. The way is him. The law is not the destination. It is only a sign, pointing to the one who can do what you cannot, pointing to a love not based on performance, pointing to a salvation you cannot earn. You can feel it within you. A lightness, a release. You don't have to strive anymore. No need to prove. No need to be perfect to be here. Let your breathing slow. Breathe in. Feel the protection surrounding you. Breathe out. Release the pressure to do everything on your own. You are not alone in this journey. You are not left behind when you are weak. You are not excluded when you are not enough. You are being led step by step, not by rigid rules, but by love. That is real, very near, very gentle. Let your body relax a little more. Your shoulders soften. Your chest feels lighter. You don't need to climb. You only need to remain. Remain in this presence. Remain in this safety. Remain in this love, without conditions. And as you begin to release the need to be perfect, he continues to lead you deeper, no longer only about what is outside, but about what is truly happening within your heart. There are things you can hide from others, but cannot hide from your own heart. And there are feelings you thought had passed, but in truth, they have only been resting, waiting for a moment to rise again. But tonight, you do not need to be afraid of that. You are not being called out to be judged. You are being invited to be healed, not from the outside, but from deep within. The wind on the hillside is still gentle. The space is still quiet. And the voice of Jesus Christ has not changed. Not sharp, not heavy, just true. He says, "You have heard, do not murder." Everyone knows this. No one disagrees. But then he continues, "But I tell you, anyone who is angry with a brother or sister carries that within." The air grows still. There is a man whose hands tighten slightly. He has never killed anyone, but he has been angry for a long time. A former friend who betrayed him, a word that wounded him, a memory he does not want to revisit, yet it remains. He has said nothing, done nothing, but inside there is a place that has not been healed. And now, he does not say that the man is wrong. He simply brings light into that place, not to condemn, but to heal. Anger is not something you need to be ashamed of. It is simply a signal that something has hurt you. And if you hold on to it, it will grow. not loudly, but quietly, like a seed hidden in the soil. If it is not touched, it will take root very deeply. If there is something like that within you, you do not need to push it away. Just look at it gently. Breathe in. Acknowledge that you have been heard. Breathe out without resisting the feeling. You are not judged for what you feel. You are being invited to release it, not all at once, just little by little. He continues, you have heard, do not commit adultery. Again, people nod, but I tell you, anyone who looks with desire has already carried it within. There is a young man lowering his head. He has done nothing wrong in the way others can see, but in his thoughts, he knows he's not entirely free. He has tried to control it, tried not to think, tried not to look, but the more he tries, the more he feels pulled back, and it exhausts him. But he does not say this to shame him. He says it so he can understand. Everything does not begin with action. It begins within, in thought, in desire, in the hidden places. And if you only try to fix the outside, the inside remains the same. But if the inside is healed, the outside changes naturally. The young man exhales softly. For the first time, he is not trying to fight it. He is simply aware. And that makes him lighter. If you have ever had thoughts you are not proud of, things you would rather no one knew, you do not need to run. You do not need to hide. You can bring them into the light, not to be judged, but to be healed. He continues gently. Do not swear oaths. Let your yes be yes. A man remembers. He once made promises and could not keep them, not because he wanted to fail, but because he was weak. And from then on, he began to say more, to cover it up, to swear more, so others would believe him. But inside, he knows he is not being asked to become perfect. He is being invited back to truth. No need for complexity, no need for hiding, just truth. And you are the same. You do not need to create a better version of yourself to be accepted. You only need to be honest with others and with yourself. He continues, do not take revenge. A woman trembles slightly. She's been deeply hurt, and within her, she wants the other person to understand that pain, to feel what she has felt. But that desire keeps her bound. It does not let her rest. He says, if someone does wrong, choose differently. Not because they deserve it, but because you deserve freedom. Revenge does not set you free. It keeps you in a loop. But forgiveness is not forgetting, is not agreeing. It is choosing not to let that pain control you anymore. The woman closes her eyes. She cannot fully forgive yet, but she wants to. And that is enough to begin. He goes even deeper. Love your enemies. The crowd almost holds its breath. It feels impossible. But he does not say this for you to do immediately. He says it so you can see another way. Not the way of the world, but the way of true freedom. You do not need to hold on to hatred to protect yourself. You can let it go, not because they deserve it, but because you no longer want to carry it. Let these words settle within you. No need to understand everything. Just let them be there, like water, flowing through what hurts. God does not only change actions, He touches the root. Not only what you do, but what you carry in your heart. And tonight, you are invited to let go. bitterness, hidden pain, the things you have carried for too long. You don't need to do it all. Just begin. Breathe in, breathe out. You are safe to be healed. Right now, there's nothing you need to fix, nothing you need to prove. Some of the most beautiful things do not need to be seen, and yet they quietly shine. And there are moments when it is only you and God, and yet they become the deepest, most real places of life. Right now, let your mind slow down just a little more. No need to try, no need to do anything, just be. The wind is still gentle, the space is still quiet, and the voice of Jesus Christ remains warm, as if speaking personally to each one. No longer about great things, no longer about things that make you strive. He speaks of very small things, but very deep. When you give, not if, but when, as if he knows that within you, goodness already exists. There is a man in the crowd. He often helps others, but each time he does, he hopes someone will notice. Not because he is bad, but because he wants to be seen. He wants someone to say, "You did well." And that makes him feel valuable. But then he hears, "Do not do it to be seen." Not because the act is wrong, but because if you do it only to be seen, you will always depend on the eyes of others. And when no one is looking, you will feel empty. He does not take away the value of doing good. He simply returns it to its rightful place, a quieter place, a place without an audience. When you give, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Such a gentle image, yet so deep, as if what you do can remain in sacred quiet, not hidden because it is wrong, but because it is holy. The man slows down. He imagines doing good without anyone knowing. At first, there's a sense of emptiness, but then something else appears, a very soft peace. No need to prove, no need to wait for someone to see. Just knowing he has done what is right. If you have ever done something good and no one noticed, do not think it was meaningless. Nothing is lost, nothing is forgotten. He continues, when you pray, a woman gently lowers her head. She prays every day, but sometimes she feels like she is speaking for someone else to hear, trying to say the right words, trying to sound right, trying to say enough. But deep inside, she no longer feels close. He says, do not pray to be seen. Not because her prayers are wrong, but because prayer is not a performance. It is not meant to impress. It is a meeting. But when you pray, go into your room. No need for a large place. No need for a special setting. Just a place where you can be yourself. No need for perfect words. No need for beautiful sentences. Just truth. The woman closes her eyes. She imagines a small room. No one there. Just her and him. She does not need to say much. Just breathe. And in that quiet, she feels something very near. Not an immediate answer, but a presence. If you have ever felt that your prayers were not good enough, remember, he does not hear you because your words are perfect. He hears you because you are his. You do not need to say it right. You only need to open your heart. He continues, when you fast, a young man remembers he once tried to let others see his sacrifice, to be called good. But he says, do not let others know. Not because it must be hidden, but because it is between you and him. The things you do in secret carry carry a different kind of value. Unmixed, undisturbed, simply pure. And then he says something very gentle. Your Father sees what is done in secret. No one else is needed, just that he sees, and that is enough. There is someone in the crowd who has been silent for a long time. All his life, he has felt invisible, unnoticed, unrecognized. But when he hears this, he realizes there is one who has always seen, not only when he does something great, but even in the smallest things. A gentle word, a quiet kindness, a moment he chooses what is right, though no one knows. All of it is seen, and so are you. Nothing you do is overlooked. No kindness is meaningless. No effort is lost. Others may not see, but he sees, clearly, truly, and with love. Let that reach you, not as a thought, but as a feeling. You do not need to live to be seen. You already are. Even when you are alone, even in what no one knows, even in the moments you think are small, you are still seen. Breathe in. Feel that quiet comfort. Breathe out. Release the need to prove yourself. You do not need the eyes of the world to know your worth. You already have it in his eyes, and his gaze never leaves you. And as you begin to feel that quiet closeness, without display, without striving, he continues to teach you how to speak with God. A simple prayer, yet deep enough to reach the very soul. Right now, let everything slow down. Just a little more. No need to try to think. No need to search for answers. Just be here. In the quiet, in your breathing, in the feeling that you are being held, because something very gentle is unfolding. Not something grand, not something complicated, but a prayer, not for you to memorize, but for you to return. The voice of Jesus Christ remains slow, very slow. He's not giving them a formula. He's giving them a way to come near. Our Father, just the first two words, are enough to make many hearts pause. Father, not a distant God, not one who only watches to judge, but Father, a Father who knows you, understands you, and does not leave you. There is someone in the crowd who never truly had a father. He grew up with that absence, and all his life he believed God must be the same, distant, hard to reach, hard to understand. But now he hears Father, such a simple word, yet it opens something entirely new, a place where you do not have to be afraid, a place where you are accepted. You do not need to do everything right to be called a child. You only need to come. Let that word remain in you. Father, breathe in softly, breathe out. You are not alone. May your name be made holy. Not because he needs to be honored, but because when you begin to see who he is, everything within you begins to realign. There is a man who carries constant worry. Everything in his life feels unstable. But when he hears this, he realizes there is one who does not change, not shaken, not uncertain. And when he turns his heart toward him, everything within him begins to settle. You are the same. You do not need to control everything to feel peace. You only need to remember him. Your kingdom come, your will be done. There is a young woman who has always wanted life to go her way, but the more she tries, the more exhausted she becomes, because life does not always follow her plans. But when she hears this, she understands there is another way, not forcing everything into your will, but letting go and trusting that His will is better. Not easy, but lighter. You do not need to carry everything. You can let go a little and trust. Give us this day our daily bread. Such a simple prayer, not for the distant future, not for everything at once. Just today. There is a woman who constantly worries about tomorrow, always planning, always afraid of not having enough. But when she hears this, she realizes she does not have to live her whole life in one night. She only needs today, and today she is still breathing, and so are you. You do not need to solve everything right now. Just step through today and you will be held. Forgive us our debts. The space grows quieter. There are things you carry, mistakes, regrets, perhaps things you have never spoken aloud. Perhaps you believe you are not worthy of forgiveness, but this prayer does not come to remind you of your failure. It comes to tell you you can be forgiven, not because you are perfect, but because He loves. And when you receive that, you can also release others, not because they deserve it, but because you no longer want to carry it. Lead us not into temptation. A young man exhales quietly. He has tried and still fallen, and he is tired. But this prayer does not demand that he be stronger. It allows him to admit he is weak and to ask for help. You do not have to overcome everything alone. You can ask, and He will be there. For yours is the kingdom, the power, and the glory. Everything returns to its rightful place, not you carrying it, not you controlling it, but Him. You can rest, not because everything is finished, but because you are no longer doing it alone. Let this prayer remain within you. No need to repeat it. No need to remember every word. Just feel it. You are called a child. You are heard. You are held. Breathe in. Breathe out. You are safe. You are covered. You are not alone. And as you release the need to hold everything together, you begin to see things differently. The things you once clung to no longer feel as heavy. The things you once feared losing begin to loosen their grip. There are things you have been holding very tightly, as if you let go, you would lose everything. And yet, there are also things that when held for too long, make your heart heavier, more tired, and farther from peace. Right now, let your heart settle just a little more. No need to think too much. Just feel. You are still on that hillside. The wind is gentle. The space is safe. And the voice of Jesus Christ remains slow, warm, guiding you deeper without ever making you afraid. He says, "Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth." Not a command to restrict you, but a reminder. There is a man sitting toward the back. He has spent his whole life gathering money, status, things that can be seen, things that can be held. Each time he gains something, he thinks, just a little more, then I will feel secure. But a little more never ends, and security never comes. He continues, for where there are moths and rust, where things can be lost, not to make him afraid, but to help him see what he has been holding on to is not as stable as he thought. The man exhales softly. Perhaps what has made him so tired is not that he has too little, but that he's been holding too much. If you have ever felt this way, always afraid of losing, always thinking you need more, always holding tightly. Let these words touch you gently. You do not need to hold everything to be safe. He continues, but store up for yourselves treasures in heaven. Treasure is not something you can hold, not something others can take. It is what lives within you, a peace you cannot buy, a love you have given, a moment you chose to forgive instead of holding on. These things may not be seen, but they are never lost. There is a woman sitting quietly. She does not have much. She is not remarkable. No one calls her successful, but she has loved deeply. She has lived kindly. She has kept her heart soft. And when she hears this, she understands. Perhaps she is not lacking. Perhaps she is rich in another way, and you are the same. You do not need to have much to have value. You only need what is true, the things that cannot be measured by money, cannot be compared, cannot be lost. He continues, for where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Pause for a moment. What is taking up space in your heart? What do you think about the most? What makes you anxious when you imagine losing it? Not to blame yourself, just to notice. Your heart always follows what you consider most valuable. If you place it in what can easily be lost, you will always feel afraid. If you place it in what endures, you will begin to find peace, not instantly, but truly. He continues, no one can serve two masters. There is a man who hears this and pauses. He thought he could, to follow God and still hold on to everything he wants. But inside, he knows he's being pulled. One side, peace. The other, control. One side, trust. The other, fear. And he is tired. He does not force him to choose immediately. He simply speaks the truth. You cannot place your heart in two places at once. Sooner or later, you will have to choose what matters most. Not to lose, but to be free. The man closes his eyes. Perhaps he does not need to hold everything. Perhaps he can let go a little and begin to trust. If you are carrying a fear of losing something, try letting go just a little. Not everything, just a little. Breathe in. Feel that you are still here. Breathe out. Gently release the need to control. You do not need to hold everything tightly to be held. You already are. In a way, deeper, safer, more secure. You are not living this life alone, trying to hold it all together. There is one holding it with you, and he will never drop you. Let that remain like a foundation, very quiet, yet unshakable. You do not need to store up to have peace. You can step into trust, one small step, one breath at a time, and you will begin to notice your heart growing lighter. And as you begin to release what no longer needs to be held so tightly, he gently leads you deeper into a place where tomorrow no longer needs to be feared, where you learn to live within the complete care of God. There is something you have been carrying all day. You may not have noticed it, but it has been there. A little worry, a little tension, a quiet fear about tomorrow. And now, as everything slows down, you begin to feel it more clearly. But tonight, you don't have to carry it anymore. You can set it down gently. Breathe in, slowly. Breathe out, as if releasing something from your shoulders. You are safe. The wind on the hillside is still soft. The light has dimmed, and the voice of Jesus Christ flows like a quiet wave. Do not worry. Not a command, but an invitation. There is a woman sitting among the crowd. She's been worrying for days about her family, about the future, about things she cannot control. She tries to stop, but the more she tries, the heavier it feels. When she hears these words, she does not feel corrected. She feels understood. Do not worry about your life. He does not say this because those things do not matter. He says it because he knows you are tired, very tired. And then he gently lifts their eyes. Look at the birds of the air. A bird passes across the sky, unhurried, untroubled, not caring tomorrow. It does not sow, it does not store, and yet it lives. It is provided for. There is a man watching that bird. He has spent his whole life preparing, always planning ahead, always holding back, and he believed that was the only way to live. But now he sees there is another way, not doing nothing, but not living in fear. You do not need to become the bird. You only need to learn one thing. You are not abandoned. If the birds are cared for, how much more are you? Let that remain in you. You are cared for. He continues, who among you, by worrying, can add a single moment to your life? Such a gentle question, yet so true. The woman begins to slow down. She has worried so much, yet what she feared still happened. And what never happened, she worried about in vain. Worry does not keep you safe. It only keeps you in tension. If you can, try to release a part of it. Not all, just a little. Breathe in. Notice that you are still breathing. Breathe out and allow yourself to rest again. He turns their eyes downward. Look at the lilies of the field. Imagine a wide field covered in small flowers, soft white, gently moving with the wind. No striving, no tension, just being. They do nothing to become beautiful. They do not try to be noticed, and yet they are a beauty, natural, quiet, complete. There is a young woman watching them. She has always believed she must become better, must be enough, must be right, must be accepted. But now she sees, perhaps, she does not need to try so hard. Perhaps she is already enough. He says, even Solomon in all his splendor was not dressed like one of these. Not to compare, but to reveal true beauty does not come from what you add, but from how you were made. You do not need to prove your worth. You already have it from the beginning. Let that reach you. No need to explain. Just feel it. He continues, if the flowers of the field are cared for like this, how much more will you be cared for? A question so gentle, as if he is saying, do you think you are forgotten? Do you think you are unseen? No, you are seen, known, cared for. Not always in the way you expect, but always enough, always present, always real. The woman closes her eyes. There are still things she does not understand, but inside, she feels lighter, not because everything is solved, but because she no longer carries it alone. He continues, do not worry about tomorrow. A difficult word, yet a gentle one. You do not need to live your whole future in one night. You only need the present. And right now, you are safe. Breathe in. Feel the air entering. Breathe out. Relax your shoulders, your neck, your heart. You You do not need to know what tomorrow holds to be at peace tonight. You only need to be here, in this moment, held, covered, loved. Let that image remain. You, like a small flower, placed exactly where you are meant to be, cared for, in a way that is uniquely yours. No need to strive, no need to run. Just be and rest. And as your worries begin to fade and your heart grows lighter, He gently leads you further into how you see others, an invitation to live with kindness and to release judgment from your heart. There are moments when you look at someone and something rises within you very quickly. A thought, a judgment, a feeling, hard to name. It comes so fast, almost automatic, but afterward, it leaves something behind that does not feel light. And tonight, you don't have to carry that anymore. You can let it go, gently. Breathe in, breathe out. The space is still quiet, the wind is still soft, and the voice of Jesus Christ rises again, slow, deep, and full of gentleness. Do not judge. Not a rebuke, but an invitation. There is a man sitting among the crowd. He is used to looking at others and evaluating them. Who is right? Who is wrong? Who is good? Who is not enough? He believed this was how to stay right, but inside, he did not feel peace. He continues. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged. Not to make him afraid, but to help him see. The way he looks at others has become the way he looks at himself. Harsh, heavy, no room for mistakes, and it exhausts him. If you have ever been very strict with others, perhaps you are also very strict with yourself. He does not condemn that. He simply gently shows something. Why do you see the speck in someone else's eye, but fail to notice the plank in your own? An image, both simple and true. A speck so small, a plank so large. Yet we often see the small in others more easily than the large within ourselves. There is a woman who lowers her head. She often notices the faults of others, the small things, the little mistakes. But as she hears this, she realizes she also has things that are not yet whole. Not to feel ashamed, but to soften. When you begin to see yourself more clearly, you no longer feel the need to judge others, not because they are right, but because you understand. You understand that everyone is trying. You understand that everyone has unfinished places. You understand that everyone needs gentleness. He is not saying you must ignore what is wrong. He's saying begin with yourself, not to blame, but to open your heart. The woman exhales softly. For the first time, she is not trying to fix others. She is simply looking within, and that makes her lighter. He continues. First, remove the plank from your own eye, not so you can become perfect, but so you can see clearly. And when you see clearly, you no longer want to hurt. You no longer want to judge. You become gentle. If there is someone in your heart you have judged, try looking again, softly. No need to change everything at once. Just look and remember, you too have needed understanding. You too have needed forgiveness. He continues. So in everything, do to others what you would have them do to you. Such a simple sentence, and yet so deep. There is a man who was once treated unfairly, and because of that, he became hardened. He stopped trusting, stopped opening his heart. But when he hears this, he realizes he would not want others to treat him that way. So, he does not need to treat others that way either. Not because they deserve it, but because he wants to live differently. And you are the same. You do not need to react based on how you were treated. You can choose differently, a way that is lighter, a way that is truer, a way that brings peace. Try. If you want to be understood, begin by understanding. If you want gentleness, begin by being gentle. If you want forgiveness, begin by releasing. No need to be perfect, just begin, little by little. The man closes his eyes. He does not change everything, but he chooses one thing, to be gentler with one person. And that is enough to begin. If you are carrying a heaviness towards someone, you do not need to force forgiveness tonight. Just do not hold it so tightly. Just allow your heart to soften a little. Breathe in. Remember that you too have failed. Breathe out and give others a little space, not to say they are right, but so that you can be light. You do not need to carry judgment to protect yourself. You can live by grace. And grace is always lighter, always truer, always more healing. And as your heart becomes softer, no longer weighed down by judgment, he gently leads you further into a deeper invitation to step through the narrow gate where true life is waiting. There are nights when you have asked so many questions, yet no answers came. There are prayers you have spoken sincerely, and still everything felt silent. And there were moments when you wondered, am I speaking to no one at all? But here, in this quiet, you are not alone. You have never been alone. Let your heart slow down a little more. No need to understand. No need to figure it out. Just be here. In this gentle space, the voice of Jesus Christ rises again. Not strong, not urgent, just patient. Ask, not once, not in haste, but keep asking. There is a woman sitting quietly. She has asked for so much, for something to change, for a door to open, for her pain to ease. But time has passed, and she is still waiting. When she hears these words, she does not feel corrected. She feels invited to remain, not because she is not good enough, but because the journey is not finished. Seek, not because what you need is hidden, but because in the seeking, you are drawn closer, closer to him, closer to yourself. There is a man who once gave up. He had searched, but did not find. He had asked, but did not receive. And he thought, perhaps no one was listening. But when he hears these words, he realizes, perhaps he stopped too soon. Not because he was weak, but because he was tired. And tired is very real. But he does not ask him to be strong. He simply invites him to continue, gently, without strain. Knock. Such a familiar image. A door. You stand there and knock. Perhaps it does not open right away, but that does not mean no one is inside. Perhaps that door is not the right one. Perhaps another door is waiting for you. But what matters is this: no door is locked against you. No door is closed to you. The woman closes her eyes. She still does not have her answer. But inside, something has changed. She no longer feels abandoned. She is simply on the journey. And in that journey, he is with her. He continues. Everyone who asks receives. The one who seeks finds. And to the one who knocks, the door will be opened. Not always in the way you expect, but in the way you need. There is a father who hears this and smiles softly. He has a child, and he knows when his child asks for bread, he does not give a stone. When his child is in need, he does not turn away, not because he is perfect, but because he loves. He says, if you, though imperfect, know how to give good gifts, how much more will your Father in heaven? Such a gentle truth, yet so deep. If human hearts can love like this, how much more does he? You are not asking a distant being. You are drawing near to a Father who understands, who sees, who does not turn away. If there is something you are still waiting for, you do not need to stop. You also do not need to force yourself to believe harder. Just remain. Just keep coming near. Not to force an answer, but not to leave his presence. Perhaps the answer has not come, but his presence is already here. And sometimes what you need most is not the answer, but the knowing that you are not alone in the question. Breathe in, feel that you are heard. Breathe out, release the pressure to understand right away. You do not need to know everything. You only need to trust that the door will open at the right time, in the right way. And when it does, you will understand why it did not open sooner. You are being led, not abandoned, not forgotten, just being guided through a path that is uniquely yours, real and deeply loved. Rest in that. No need to knock harder. Just remain. And as you begin to realize the door was never truly closed, your heart grows quieter and gently. He leads you into the final place, where you are held completely in the mercy and love of a Father who knows you are human and loves you fully. Anyway, now, everything has become very still. There's nothing left to rush, nothing you need to understand right away. There is only you and a gentle feeling slowly spreading within. Breathe in, slowly. Breathe out, deeply. You have walked a long journey. Every word, every image, every feeling. And now, you can rest. You don't need to hold on to everything. Just keep what touched you most. The wind on the hillside has softened. The sky is growing darker. The light, like a thin blanket, gently covering everything. And there, still is Jesus Christ. Not distant, not leaving, just staying, looking at you with a gaze that does not change. No measuring, no comparing, only in love. He knows you. Not only the part you show others, but also the part you keep hidden deep within. The tiredness you never speak of, the worries you try to forget, the things you wish you had done differently. He knows all of it, and still, he does not turn his eyes away from you. There is a sentence, so gentle, like a whisper in the wind. He remembers that we are dust. Not to lower you, but to say, he understands. He understands that you are sometimes weak, sometimes wrong, sometimes not strong enough, and that does not make him step away. Instead, it draws him closer, like a father who sees his child tired and does not scold, but quietly sits beside them. No need for many words, just presence. If there is something in your heart that you are still holding, a mistake, a regret, something you have not forgiven yourself for, you do not have to carry it anymore. You can set it down, right here, in this moment. No need to be perfect, no need to explain. Just let go, breathe in, Feel that you are still loved. Breathe out. Release what you have been holding for too long. You are not defined by your mistakes. You are defined by the love given to you. A love that does not change, does not lessen when you are weak, does not leave when you fall. Always there, always waiting, always open. There is someone in the crowd who begins to cry, not out of sadness, but out of relief. For the first time, he does not need to prove that he is worthy. He simply is there, and he is loved. And you are the same. You do not need to do anything more to be held. You already are. Let your body soften just a little more. Your shoulders can drop. Your jaw can relax. Your forehead can rest. You are safe. You are covered. You are being held in a very quiet way. If you listen deeply enough, you may begin to feel a very gentle warmth, like invisible arms around you, not holding tightly, not controlling, just there. Enough for you to know you are not alone. Enough for you to rest. Tonight, you do not need to think about tomorrow. You do not need to solve anything. You do not need to become anyone else. You only need to sleep in this peace, in this love, in this presence that does not leave. If this voice has helped you feel even a little lighter, you can subscribe to the channel so you always have a place to return to whenever you need rest. And if you'd like, leave a small comment, even just one word, to say that you are here. I will read and be there with you. Come back each night when you need a quiet space, a gentle voice, a place without judgment, a place where you can simply be yourself. Now, close your eyes. Breathe in deeply. Breathe out slowly. You have done enough for today. You are allowed to rest. You're allowed to let go. You're allowed to sleep. May you have a deep sleep, a peaceful sleep, and a sleep filled with love. Good night.